Android One started as an initiative to give mobile access to more people in the entry-level market without taking a big toll on the quality. This is the Xiaomi Mi A1, the first Android One device which proved the market wrong that cheap phones don't mean subpar quality. I've been using this for a year exactly and I'm still gonna stick to the Mi A1. Here's why. The thing is, this phone checked almost all the major boxes for being the best budget contender at that time. Let's skip the design part because there is nothing flashy and this design is almost outdated now. But this skin kinda makes it look fresh. There are a few minute dents and scuff marks underneath, but trust me when I say this is really well built. I mean, I've dropped it countless times and because it's made of metal, it was able to withstand everything. Flipping over to the other side of the phone, the display kinda is the only tricky part to talk about. So we'll talk about that in the end of the video, but the display is sharp, contrasty and well saturated with very good viewing angles. The color shift while viewing in an angle is very less, which cannot be said for most of the budget contenders at the time. Above all this, software experience is what makes this package appealing. This phone recently got the Android Pie update and they stood by their word of giving 2 years of Android updates. Even though there are a lot of bugs, it's at least updated to the latest version and this phone has a great custom ROM support from the community. There are network and RAM management issues with this update, so I think I'm gonna get back to custom ROMs. Trust me, flash a custom ROM and you love this phone more than ever and you might skip the idea of getting a new phone. Don't get me wrong, the stock update is great for a regular user because the software is clean and navigating and doing regular stuff should be buttery smooth. Giving a clean Android experience was the Android One program's goal and they delivered it perfectly. Obviously, the processor is kinda outdated but it's totally manageable because 625 is a tested standard for performance and battery. Considering this phone will get another year of security updates officially and the next version of Android from the Android community, this is still a phone you can opt for. Apart from that, having an headphone jack is a killer feature in 2019 and the DAC that's present inside this phone is so cool of an implementation that it's the most underrated or less talked about feature of this phone. Let me put it this way. Even after comparing this with most of the higher end devices, audio output on this still feels one of the best for me and USB Type-C has started becoming the standard finally and this was one of the first phones to have this standard get started. Also having an infrared sensor which will for sure come in handy. This is very rare in the market these days and Xiaomi has been providing this for a long time now. The camera in this thing is no joke either. It was appealing because they offered cameras with different focal lengths, which I would surely opt for over the depth sensing. The pictures will have less contrast and saturation, which is what most photographers want, and it captures rich details and the HDR does a great job every single time. The camera does a very good job in low light conditions too. The video quality is not reliable, but if it's in the right hands, it can surely give amazing results. Finally, the display issue that I told you in the beginning about, which might be the only reason for me to update to a newer version. Xiaomi opted 2 companies for the display parts, one being Tianma and the other being Elitech. And they both have their disadvantages. Tianma was cooler and way better than Elitech, which I had and liked it, but it exhibits this ghosting of the previous app's brighter static areas on the present app's darker areas, which is basically called image persistence. So I got it replaced at Xiaomi's service center for free because they told me that it was a faulty device after I used it for 10 months or so, and unfortunately they installed the Elitech one, which was way warmer and I don't like it, but it looks like Xiaomi did the same mistake with the Mi A2. So I think I have no reasons to upgrade to Mi A2 and probably the Mi A3 might also suffer the same problem. The display had good contrast and saturation levels, but these small color temperature or calibration issues which cannot be fixed are the ones which will break the experience. So other than those thick bezels and the display issues, I find no reason upgrading. I never thought I would use a phone for more than 2 years and this phone is really making me do that. And I feel upgrading to the latest version in the market is not necessary because the upgrade we get is marginal.